Welcome to the Birthing Conscious Humans podcast, and this morning's conversation is called Juicy Mamas. And I'm here with my friend Arianna, who is an inspiring human being, a multidimensional human being. Apart from being a yoga instructor, a festival and retreat organizer, she has an incredible range of tools in her medicine pouch. She's one of the elders of our conscious community here in Arila. So I'm very happy to be sharing this time with you, Arianna. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. And I think the first thing I want to share is how we came up with this title for this conversation, Juicy Mamas, because it's been the running joke a little bit the whole summer. Mm-hmm. And we were sort of playing or holding this watermelon in our garden, this big juicy watermelon. Mm-hmm. And what does it feel like, or what does it look like when a woman is juicy? Either because she's preparing to conceive or because she's pregnant, but also as a conscious woman. So what does that look like for you, or what does it sound like? Or
Thank you for the question, because it helps me remember how this juicy really came up. It was during a ceremony with some friends, and I had and I finally really connected with my juiciness. I felt light, open, full of life, and this life was flowing through me, and I was really witnessing it and connecting with the pleasure. Yeah. So that's what became a kind of a mantra for the summer, this juicy or juicy. Yeah. And of course then we connected it with your project, and it's very important. For me then became very clear that I want to feel and to be juicy or juicy. And that is a quality that can be explained as in more holistic term. I would call the juiciness factor as a holistic balance, multidimensional balance in the flow of energy that flows through us. So it's something light and funny, something inspiring and very clear as an image, and it's also something multi-layered. So we can see that it has a very wide perspective to bring.
And the more we joke about it, the more we play with it, the more we are able to identify in each other and in ourselves when we are juicy, the more it becomes our lived experience. Yeah. And so juiciness has the word in itself, it's so simple, it's playful, but it makes you salivate.
Yes.
Almost. As a woman, I'm definitely able to tune into sort of leading my life orgasmically. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know, there is a whole body of work called orgasmic birth. So when we're talking about pregnancy and birth, our mothers feeling juicy in themselves. Is there an energy flow in the body? Is there emotional flow in the body? What are the things that obstruct the flow of juice? And also looking at it from a baby's perspective, what are the repercussions for a baby when a woman is not in her juice and in her flow? Yeah. A lot of things there.
Very, very interesting that we go to orgasmic birth, because it's the wish that I send my friends when they are experiencing pregnancy. I watched the movie or the documentary Orgasmic Birth and was so inspired by the stories of these women who were able to be fully juicy during the pregnancy and the delivery, the birth, that I find it perfect as a connection to bring up the quality that I felt in these women that were experiencing orgasmic birth.
Yeah.
They were very much in their power, in their feminine, and in their masculine. I felt them balanced in their energy, so feminine and masculine, and very strong and tender
at the same time.
At the same time, which is the gift of this balance of these qualities that we all carry, the masculine and feminine. So able to fully abandon themselves in a clear container, so that they could welcome life through them, as open, to flow through them and connect with the pleasure of it instead of the stiffness and contraction of the pain that can come up. In any moment we contract and stiffen when life is coming through us.
Absolutely. So the qualities, and I think this is where our conversation met, is trusting the flow. So there is a fluidity in all of this, whether literally allowing the juices or the liquids of the body to flow freely through us, allowing the process, the life process, to flow through us, and perhaps to accept and to trust that allowing is also a valid way of living your life and experiencing your experiences, let's say, from the inside out. And there seems to be this fluidity is also the way life itself arises or show up. So we're looking at plants, for example. We're talking about the juiciness in plants. We're talking about drinking not just water, but liquids that hydrate. So we've been having this conversation on many levels. So trusting life, also, I don't know if it's a requirement, but it seems that living close to nature allows us to trust her rhythms.
Absolutely. Unless there will be some kind of futuristic development that I don't want to look at. I see us as children of the earth. I'm very aware of this conversation and that it could sound new age. And so I really hope that we will be able to stay grounded and to use these words, and that the listeners can feel the inside themselves that this is speaking to their inner wisdom, and therefore they feel they are resonating with what we are saying, and they can get inspired. And some others may feel that this is totally out in another dimension, but I know that some will be able to really connect with what we are talking about. So, nature or the earth is what we are made of, and according to different world ancient traditions, we are composed of the elements that are composing the planet, and we can try, as we have in the past, to follow imposed rules or society paradigm, to stick to what is considered right for people and for mothers or for anybody, for children in a school system, and we can try to uniform with that. But in deep down, I observe that anybody, from a pregnant woman to a child to any human beings, put back in touch with nature after a few days of walking barefoot, of eating alive food coming from healthy plants, swimming in the sea, releasing the amount of stress and tension that has been hold on to from the life we were all leading before reconnecting with nature. I see a transformation. It's obvious to my eye. I see people becoming color coming back to their face, the expression relaxing, and life starts flowing again through the vessel, the vehicle, our body. So some can call it the temple. I sometimes joke and call it the Ferrari, because that's the part of Italy where I was born. We come on this amazing planet with this amazing vehicle, and we can take a long time to learn to connect with it, to feel that the energy is flowing. And I know this can sound abstract, but how does it feel when the energy is flowing? I feel grounded, connected with the earth. So
your breath is deeper.
My breath is deeper, and it goes down to my belly and even down to my feet. And
you're laughing because your muscles are relaxed, and a smile can return to your face, and your belly is nice and loose because you're not holding your shoulders.
Exactly.
And what you were saying, how the breath returns to the face and the features open up, and you look
soften.
like you're glowing.
Yes,
absolutely.
And exactly. So breath is helping me ground. I feel grounded, and I trust and allow, which takes some time to learn, that there is this earth energy or vital energy coming through my legs and filling my vehicle up of energy. And I start feeling it through yoga, breathing techniques. I start feeling this energy, and I feel where it flows, or even through singing. I feel where it flows, and I feel where it gets stuck. And where it gets stuck, I learn through energy, etheric anatomy, where in my body this energy is feeling stuck. I have a pain somewhere. Where is it? What organ, which gland is there? What is this area of my body connected to? The chakras are interesting to make this connection and understanding of what is stuck where. And once this energy from the earth comes up and flows through my vehicle, up and up, rising, and allows me to get nurtured by it, so that all my body and the level of my body get nurtured, and I express myself through my arms, or through my voice, or through my hands, through my eyes. I feel that there is a circuit, a healthy circle of life force energy, yes. And then not only it comes through me, out from me, through my mouth, through my eyes, and even through my top of my head, so I feel open and connected even to the sky, so that I really, really realize that I am an antenna, and I am receiving and emitting. So I receive earth energy, I receive sky energy, and I emit the frequency that I choose to resonate, to vibrate in. And the more juicy I feel, the higher the frequency that I am able to vibrate.
And there's a fullness in that, because I think what you were saying at the beginning, that there is a layered effect. It's vibrational. Your vessel starts filling up with a different vibration, or higher vibration, let's say, but then the practice also becomes to witness the emotional range of feelings and sensations that come up. It also translates as nutrition and the food that we put in our body, and this creates a juiciness also on a physical level.
Absolutely. I only recently I really felt how all the things that I was learning in the last 20 years are coming together in a very clear image that has all these levels, all these bodies, if you want. When I was studying about the different bodies 20 years ago, when I started practicing yoga for my own healing and well-being, I was looking at these images of ancient traditional teachings and finding it all so complicated and out there. Whereas living and keeping this practice and studying and observation, I now feel it in my body, how I have a physical part of me, and this physical part needs water, food, good food, rest, relaxation, movement, joyful exchange of energy with people and with the earth. Connection. So let's say this is the first and more tangible level or body. Then my emotions that are so important and affecting my well-being, but they are not, and I cannot really see them in my body, but studying Bach flowers and the teachings of Dr. Edward Bach, I see that the emotions are connected with the physical symptoms, or how then I behave with my vehicle. So the emotions, the mental body, my thoughts, and the thoughts I choose to alimент, or to the patterns of thoughts that I choose to follow and to nourish, to keep repeating. This is very important. It creates behaviors, beliefs. So I need to connect on all the levels that I become aware of. And so far we have mentioned the physical, so food, sleep, connection with the earth and the breathing. Emotional, what's alive in me, how do I feel. The mental body, the thoughts, the quality of the thoughts and the words I choose to speak. Some people, including my mother, I love you, Mom, could say, yeah, but this is a chance, this is based on chance. But thank God I had dedicated a lot of time to study that no, it's not chance. God doesn't play dice, like Einstein was saying, that there is very little that chance is responsible of, and the rest can be connected to the observer. So quantum physics is teaching us. So if I choose to nourish, consciously or unconsciously, a thought, an emotion, a pattern, then I will, also, and it becomes stronger and stronger. And so it's not chance, it's my choice. It can be unconscious, but it's my choice.
And this is where I feel, and this is the conversation we had with Donna earlier on in the Birthing Conscious Humans podcast, is consciousness. We're using the word Birthing Conscious Humans not to create another measure of good or bad, or to create more guilt or pressure on women, on birthing mamas, but from an empowered understanding that we choose our reality in any given moment, and there are possibilities, choices. There's people out there living their life in a certain way, and who are open to support in a way to remember rather than to become something that is not us. I feel that what we're talking about is accepting our humanity to being fully alive, realizing that we have a spiritual body that's having a very physical experience, and how all of us flows in all directions in the here and now, and also owning up to that as future mothers, parents, carers of incoming souls, of new babies that are choosing us as parents and carers, perhaps because we're able to provide a nourishment, an aliveness, also because of owning up to our own choices. We are creating more space for babies and children to create their pathways.
Definitely. The freer we are from unconscious patterns, the more present in the present moment, and open to receive the huge available life energy that is in the present, the more we are able to receive and allow the flow of this present moment energy, vital energy, the less we need to dedicate time or effort to heal or to fix things that have happened because we were unconscious and in the past or in the future. So the gift of the present and the comprehension, the really comprehension, not understanding, comprehension, to become really aware of our humanity, as you said, is such a deep gift, because it brings in compassion, it brings in
towards ourselves.
Towards ourselves, yes, first. It brings compassion, a bit more patience, the ability of letting go of the perfection syndrome that has been very, very strong in the last 100 years, for sure, or even longer.
The need to control the outcome of things, for sure, organized, but almost like not trusting life's flow in wanting it to go in a certain way. We are
reconnecting and healing this polarity of either super feminine, not contained way, or super masculine, super stiff, straight to the point way. We are weaving the healed version of the masculine and feminine. So maybe, yes, we are bringing forth all the reawakening all the teachings and reconnecting with ancient wisdom. At the same time, it's happening in the present, which for sure brings some presence and healing.
And what I want to bring it down, all of this that you're saying, how from the macro we go to the micro. So if we're talking about, let's say, the first human cell, you know, we've just been conceived and we're incarnating into a physical body. And if we imagine our first cells as almost like a juicy liquid filled plasma, you know, that sort of expands and contracts and expands and contracts. And this expansion and contraction is affected by all these things that we've been talking about in any given moment. So my first cells, the very foundations, the structures of the physical body I'm living in today, all developed and multiplied and repeated the sort of juiciness or non-juiciness of my first cells. So on the one hand, it's you know, not wanting to be prescriptive or black and white about this, but it is accepting that our spiritual, mental, emotional and physical choices have a repercussion on the juiciness of our of our cells, of our life force energy, of our reproductive organs, etc., etc. And our capacity as human beings to hold emotions, to hold a whole range of emotions, including our sadness and our grief, because it's not always, we're sitting here having a beautiful conversation and it sounds like we know it all or we've experienced it all. But I know that the Arianna that I've met, who's a beautiful woman that walks around her garden barefoot and talks to her plants and has the wisdom about plants and earth medicine, and the way, Arianna, I know that you're able to talk about your emotions so eloquently and help others connect and explore their own emotions. I know that you weren't always this, Arianna.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the wounded healer is a path that is shared by many people who are now therapists or healers or teachers. I assume many people or most people choose a path because they need their own healing.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to know more about emotions and communication because I grew up in a family where like many families in the 80s and the 70s, where work was and the daily sustenance of the household were the main and primary concerns of the caregivers. So my parents had a child, or then we can go into a family constellation view of my family system. But let's say that I grew up in a place where emotions and communication were lacking or not seen, and that has given me the gift of then finding teachers and tools to go deep within myself. I love to play with the terms, so I also like to use some dirty language, and so I found a way to unfuck myself, I say, and to go back to juiciness, because I was suffering and I was stiff and I wasn't able to speak about what was happening inside myself. So for sure the hard times or tough experiences in life push us to go deeper.
Absolutely. And this is where and I know that we share a common experience of loss during pregnancy, and I think many women have much more than what is talked about. And what happens when let's say a difficult emotion or a difficult life situation comes up, it's easy for the energy there to get stuck, to freeze, to become, let's say, murky or even boggy, frozen. Creating flow for that part of ourselves to find its way back to juiciness is to bring it back in connection with the rest of the system. So for me, the path is awareness, which means is connecting to that part of myself, but also sharing it with another.
Absolutely.
To bring it back out into, to be seen.
Yes.
So the juiciness can sort of flow back into connection with myself and with another. And this is why I think we're not wanting to come across here in these conversations, and the same with the whole of Birthing Conscious Humans. It's not coming at it from I'm an expert point of view and this is the way to do it, but there's a shared humanity in this process that I think women and men can resonate with, and there's sort of awakening to our fullest capacity, awakening to our juiciness, so that we can become juicy, alive human beings for babies to birth themselves into.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful picture I'm seeing now and feeling, because emotional or multidimensional healing hasn't been part of our past, but it definitely is more and more part of the present and definitely will be part of the future. So this multidimensional healing, meaning on a physical level, on an emotional level, on a mental level, spiritual level, these healings can occur together, and then will give each individual who chooses to have a holistic healing or a holistic life can then welcome
a multidimensional human being.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I think in the past the problem has been that when we see a incoming soul or an embryo developing, we think, they don't have they don't have cognitive mental capacities yet. Even their physical body is not grown. But when we look at it from a multidimensional perspective, and we agree that we also have a spiritual dimension or other dimensions that we're not even aware of, a baby on that level already has the capacities to observe, to feel, to interact with her or his parents on that level through resonance, through juiciness, through the aliveness that is present in the sperm, in the ovum, in the uterus, in the physical body.
There is a beautiful book I read many years ago about this, and I hope it's still available. We could put it in the comments of this video. It's by a French woman, Anne Givaudan, and it's called The 9 Steps, and it talks about pregnancy, and she is, of course, a very special person who is also channeling and in touch with other dimensions. So she's talking about birth from the baby's, from the soul's perspective, so describing the soul before it comes into the belly of the mama and all that this soul is witnessing. Therefore, yes, it's very possible that we are aware, much more aware on different levels of what is happening, and so that a baby, being a soul, is aware of what is happening in the container, the mother, the amazing vessel, and in the dynamic of the relationship of this vessel, in the surrounding, in the bigger family, community. And that's why it would be very juicy to be able to create a juicy vessel on different layers, and there are many allies and tools that we can use to keep ourselves to strengthen and keep.
And I know that one of the things that we enjoy sharing together and that you are very masterful in are flowers and flower essences. And from me, coming from a crystalline passion, I recognize in flowers the subtlety and purity of vibrations that are existing when we start talking about a spirit body or a soul consciousness, that are more, let's say, clear energies and vibrations than the more denser emotional or physical level frequencies. So I know that you support women emotionally with flowers. So I don't know if before closing you would just like to dip in your fingers into flowers, and I know that you are available also online for sessions about this, but if you just bring that energy through now, it'd be lovely.
As I mentioned earlier, when I studied the work of Dr. Edward batch, they say it in England, I realized how deep his work was. I was then even more surprised to see that medical doctors don't study much of his work in medical school. I believe it's a pity, and I hope that it will be integrated, because he was a medical doctor, then became a homeopathic doctor, and then developed the flower remedies in order to create affordable, accessible, and very effective remedies for people to feel better, directing this healing on a vibrational level that was then affecting the physical level,
the emotional
the
and physical
emotional and physical level. So it's online. There are many places where to easily see what happened with this, what the story of Edward Bach and the flower remedies. They are easy to find, and I would recommend every woman or every person actually interested in healing and in helping their surrounding to feel better, to have access or to know a little bit about the flowers, because many people are familiar with the rescue remedy. But there are 38 flower essences, single flowers, and the 39th is a mix, and it's the rescue remedy. You can imagine that each one of us is unique, thank God, I say, and so we could have our own tailor-made rescue remedy for the present. That's where I want to go back. The present is special, and so if it's pregnancy happening in the present moment, I could support this process by taking the flowers that would help me balance some emotions that could affect my well-being during the pregnancy. So for sure, if I'm pregnant, I have to look, and in parentheses or in to deal with my body changing. No matter the age, if I'm young or a bit older, my body is going through huge transformation. And so already just the fact of integrating this change, we could have support from the flowers. Then there could be fear. There are emotions that can come up and are supernatural to come up, so very natural, not supernatural, but very natural to come up, as fear, doubt,
uncertainty, change,
worry.
hormones,
Will I be able to be a good parent? Worry, will this man, look at him, be able to help me bring this child into the world?
But you also support the father as well.
Of course. Flower remedies are good for both, for the whole family, or for whoever wants to have a natural vibrational support. And
we also talked about flowers from the baby's perspective. So what I'm interested in, for example, if flowers have these subtle energy vibrations that a developing embryo or a newborn baby naturally resonates with, because the primary language of an incoming soul, of a newborn baby, is vibrational. So they're incredibly responsive to this kind of vibrational medicine, rather than, let's say, stuff you can buy in the pharmacy, right? What are the flowers which would support an incoming soul, integrate their physical body, feel safe in their own container, to ground into their container, so that they can unfold, feel safe enough in their vessel to unfold their multidimensional being, and to know that their essence, their whole being is able to be integrated.
I love this question. I love this question. I would suggest three flowers that could be general, plus the flowers that resonate with the emotions the mother is feeling in the moment, during the pregnancy. So for sure, for the baby, I would use Star of Bethlehem first of all, because it's the flower of healing, the healer of the Bach flowers, and it has amazing healing properties, and it helps align the etheric and the physical body. So for an incoming soul, it's for sure an aligning flower. Plus, on a physical level, the gynecologist I was studying with was using it and recommending it to help the embryo.
Implantation?
Yes, that's what Star of Bethlehem. Star of Bethlehem, also on a physical level, can be.
And I'm also hearing in what you're describing, aligning vibrationally also with the mother and with the father. So it's through vibrations helping the whole family align. As well.
And lastly, about Star of Bethlehem, it's also super good to use some drops of Star of Bethlehem in the bath when the baby is born.
Absolutely.
So this Star of Bethlehem for sure is very connected with pregnancy. And when I was studying, one of the definitions that my teacher used is the healer of shock and trauma from birth until now. So it's really all-encompassing flower for this moment.
Until we are adults, in fact, because we look at birth and we kind of forget that, in fact, however we look at it, it is a traumatic experience that the body has to integrate. And until it is consciously addressed, there is trauma resonating in the body from our, the sacred passage, which has a long-lasting impact, let's say.
Trauma is the new topic I'm very, very into right now.
So before closing,
there were two more flowers about pregnancy. One is walnut, which is it creates a protection. Just picture the walnut and see that it's soft inside and more strong on the outside,
and structured. And I also see the brain.
It's a brain. It's a heart if you open it in two. So walnut, which is also connected with life changes. So this is a moment of change for everybody in the.
And maybe accepting that part of incarnating into a physical vessel is accepting that. I have a human body, I have a physical body that has its, it can feel like limitations, but it has its functions, and allows me to express myself, let's say, on the physical level.
If we realize that we have this Ferrari, then we really want to go out with it and to experience the potential of this amazing vehicle. And the third flower that I would recommend, especially if the mother has been taking medicine for any reason, if there is chemicals in the mother's body, I would recommend to use during the pregnancy crabapple. Crabapple is the flower of purity. It helps get rid of the toxins. So if there is any, and nowadays, if we eat food that comes from industry, like if we eat not fully alive organic food, if we live in a city, all this exposes us to toxins. If we nourish unhealthy, low vibration thoughts, all this become toxins in our body. So crabapple would help purify the body and make it pure for the soul to feel more at ease, because I believe we come from a very pure place.
Absolutely. Beautiful. So, Arianna, I'm kind of imagining people listening to this conversation that are not living amidst an old juicy fruit garden, like we're blessed to share here in Arilas. What, let's say, if there's one thing that you would recommend to people listening to us at the moment to do in order to stay juicy, what would it be, the top thing on your list?
For me, the top thing is connect. Connect to yourself, connect to nature, connect to other people. This connect could be a post-it on our, or written on our bathroom mirror, to remember to connect, to stay connected with exactly with ourselves and others, including nature. Because we are so interrelated and interdependent that if we close and stiffen and isolate, then we really, really, really lose our juiciness.
So I'll be posting this, of course, in the footnotes on the podcast. If somebody would like to connect with you, where would they find you?
On Facebook, or I also have a website, two actually, in Italian and in English, so we will write in the comments all the addresses.
You've written an amazing book as well in
Italian.
I'm
getting older. I am honoring my wisdom. I really want to embrace all the beautiful teachers that and teachings that I searched and found in my past, to heal myself first and to share simple tools. So yes, I wrote a handbook called 13 Steps of Well-Being, and I really recommend to have a look in case people want to be inspired in a light way.
With practical things.
Yes.
And of course, you are a beautiful mama here in Arilas, where you welcome people, parents, mothers wanting to reconnect to themselves and to nature. Thank you for being the incredible woman that you are. And I look forward to sharing some more on this journey with you.
Thank you for inviting me to share this with all the other beautiful people, and I really wish that people hearing this can be inspired and find their own way to stay juicy.
Thank you for connecting, and thank you for listening in.